Ryan, one of your less favorite actors or less favorite people who happens to be an actor has a movie that opens on Friday.
He does.
Mark, aka Marky Mark Wahlberg, stars in a. How would you describe Joe Bell? What kind of movie are we talking about here?
It's a message movie, a drama. It's not an action movie.
It is not an action movie.
It's I guess you could. It's sort of an indie film.
It's got an indie feel to it.
Yeah, I mean, it was certainly made for less than most Marky Mark productions. Probably
right. It's not a big film.
No, it's a very small, intimate film. It's based on a true story about a man who embarks on. Essentially, he wants to walk across America, going to high schools, talking about bullying after his son is bullied. And so it's him kind of going on this journey by foot,
right?
And some of the experiences that he has. I guess one thing that's sort of interesting for anyone who's local to Utah, a lot of the film was shot here. There is one specific scene where they, it is Utah and they talk about it, but even some of the stuff that didn't necessarily take place in Utah in the movie was shot here. So there's that element, but I guess what makes that less interesting is it's because they shot it in places that are very nondescript.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're going to watch it. Oh, I know where that is. It's like it's a side of the road.
Yeah. It's,
okay.
So he starts in Oregon, comes down through Idaho, Utah, and gets to Colorado.
Yeah, and essentially he like perhaps the actor who's playing him, this Joe Bell character, is not necessarily the sort of anti-bully spokesperson that you would expect them to be. He's gruff. He tries to be understanding, which is probably more so than what a lot of people do. Right. But he doesn't always do or say the right thing. He tries. And at least the movie genuinely makes it look like he does try
within his own frame of reference and experience.
Sure. But when it comes down to his son wanting to do cheerleading in the front yard, he doesn't quite know how to. He's I think in a way, somehow in his head he's decided that it's okay if his son wants to be a cheerleader, but the actual idea of seeing him be a cheerleader is not something that he's prepared, or something that he wants to try to talk his way through with the neighbors,
right?
Which is, I think, understandable. So I mean, I think there's a lot in this film that is interesting. There's some touching moments that are in there. There are some infuriating moments that are in there. Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Bell. His heart is in the right place. It is a good message movie. The message of Joe Bell is good.
Well, and
the character of Joe Bell is not always great.
No, but I think that there is value in this, in the sense that I think that there are a lot of people who probably are similar to Joe Bell, where they are comfortable with the idea of something, but they aren't as comfortable with it actually existing, if that makes sense. So Joe Bell is in a way, he's okay with the fact that he has a gay son, and a son who's listens to lots of Lady Gaga, and
which is just a weird sequence.
Well, yeah, we get to see. Well, it is and it isn't though, because I think, you know, like he says in the film, he couldn't help but kind of, I mean, you hear a song. You hear a song, and if you're constantly hearing a song, and then then that person who reminds you of that song, is gone, but then you remember them, and then that song comes back to you. It's because we're very much about the senses.
Yes.
And memory, and it works very much in that way. So, but yes, you get to see Mark Wahlberg sing some Lady Gaga,
which is weird.
Yeah, but again, I mean, I just think that I'm not going to say that I don't think it's a great film. I think it's uneven. I don't know how you make certain parts of it better. It is based on a true story, so there's certain things that you can't avoid.
Right.
And there's a certain abruptness to the end.
Which mirrors the abrupt end.
But that's the true story. So, while I think maybe there are people who like Mark Wahlberg who will go see this film,
right?
And see what it looks like for someone who's trying to be a good person, and it acknowledges that that's not easy,
right?
And that it is a process, and so to a certain degree, I think I'm glad the film exists. It's not high art, but it has a high art message, a very important message to it.
Now, did you get to talk to Wahlberg?
No, I talked to Bonnie, who plays the mother.
Right.
But I did ask her about, Mark Wahlberg being in the film. And she said it was a passion project for him, that it was important for him to do the film and make sure the film got made.
Right. And who doesn't love Connie Britton is his wife, but yes. I guess that came later in life for them. The way it reads, their relationship is murky.
Yes.
in this film, Joe and Lola, but Connie Britton, she has a very small role.
But it's an important one because this may sound weird, but this is her character's story, really, because there's no one else to tell it. So she's the one who was on set, and she's the one person that they could talk to about Joe, about things and everything. So I mean, yeah. So in a strange way, it's her narrative, and it's kind of the way she remembers it, or the way that she felt, or which is, I mean, there are issues with relationship. If the person you're in a relationship decides that they're going to go for a walk, they're going to quit their job, and they're going to go for a walk for 1 or 2 years, however long it takes.
Yep.
There are things there that are unresolved, So again, Joe Bell is a very complicated character, and the film acknowledges that. It doesn't hide away from any of that, which I think is good. But did Joe Bell make the right decision? Is Joe Bell making a difference? That ultimately.
Yeah, I'd like to think that had he made it all the way across the country, he would have gotten better at it.
Well,
because he's terrible at it.
Sure. Yes, and there's a lot of inner monologue that he has about being terrible at it, and knowing that he's terrible at things, and being disappointed in what he is able to do and not able to do.
Right.
It's it's a movie to a great extent about a man trying to understand a son that he didn't understand when the son was there.
Right.
And trying to figure out what world did he inhabit, or how did he see the world, and because Joe Bell wasn't interested in seeing the world through his eyes, really.
No. Not until it was too late.
Not until I mean, I think we all do things that are influenced by something that has happened. We wish we had done those things before, whatever that moment was, but we do it now because of that moment. And it can be little things or big things, but I mean, generally speaking, I think the movie's a little bit of a mess, but I think it's an interesting journey and worthwhile. I think for people who might not typically be comfortable go seeing a movie that deals with a gay character and bullying and the sad reality of the impact of bullying doesn't stop with the person who's being bullied. It goes kind of rubs off on anyone who's around them, and the sadness and kind of the there's some really tough scenes that are about his son in this that are hard to watch but important to watch, and I think maybe it's something we need to watch. If you have teenagers, then maybe it's something you should watch with them, because a lot of the things that teenagers do, they do without a sense of what the impact might be, long term, short term, what the impact, anything past that moment. So I think there's value in the film, and again, I wish it was a better movie. Yeah,
it's kind of like when we watched Thank You for Your Service.
Yeah.
Which wasn't a great movie, but it was about important things, but it could have been a better film. This is about important stuff, societal, familial stuff. But yeah, it could have been a better film. Again, Mark Wahlberg is Joe Bell. Connie Britton is Lola, his wife. Reid Miller plays Jadin, his son.
Yeah, the son, and does a really nice job.
He's a great character.
Yeah.
Which is weird to say in that kind of tone of voice, but he's a great character. But let's not forget, probably the guy that grounds the film near the end, who kind of just keeps everything on track, is Gary Sinise shows up in what's really kind of like an extended cameo.
Yeah.
Gary Sinise is great. And I think it helps maybe rein in some of the, I don't want to say melodrama because it's not really the word I'm going for.
But it refocuses.
Yeah.
Because I mean, otherwise, I mean, it's a man walking on the side of the road, occasionally talking to an auditorium. And there are a couple places along the way where he actually interacts with people. Yeah. And the Gary Sinise element is one of those moments where he really actually engages with somebody. And so that's and that does help to give that final act a sense of closure's not the right word, but it kind of collects all
of the threads, or almost the pickup sticks that we've had throughout the rest of the film, and brings them together. So I think it was very important that they had a really solid actor for that, and I think Gary Sinise was a great choice. I thought he did a great job.
Yeah,
but yeah, Reid Miller was great as Jadin. He really was. So I'll be interested to see the general reaction to the film, because it opens on this Friday the 23rd. But Black Widow is still in theaters. Space Jam is still in theaters. There's bigger films that people may or may not still be word of mouthing into theaters. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of reception it gets monetarily and just from a critical sense, from the public. The public's criticism, not critics' criticism.
Yeah,
because we've established those are two incredibly different things. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what that is.
Yeah, there's a part of me that hopes it does well, in the sense that I'd like to see it reach people who wouldn't traditionally go see. I want to believe that Mark Wahlberg will bring a certain demographic into the theater that may not have gone otherwise.
Yeah.
And my feelings about Mark Wahlberg are what they are. But when they asked me if I would want to do something for this film, I said, well, I have to watch it first, because I need to believe in what the film is,
right?
Because that's what's important. It's not really that important that I have no idea if Mark Wahlberg did this film for the good reasons, the right reasons,
right?
But
he did do it.
He did the film, and there's value in the film, and I do hope. I think I just hope that the people who can relate to him can then watch this film and relate to Joe Bell and begin to relate to Jadin.
Yep.
So I think in general, I say go see this movie. It's a conversation starter, if particularly for people who may not be comfortable having a conversation about LGBT community or anything that outside of the quote unquote norm.
Right. Well, nobody's comfortable outside their norm.
Yeah.
Whatever your norm is, humanity, basically, we don't like to go outside of whatever our norm is. So yeah. But it's not a conversation ender. It is a conversation starter.
Yeah.
So it'll be, like I said, it'll be interesting to see how it does. So, so Joe Bell, yeah, people should see it. I think people should see it, and then talk about it. I think that's the importance of the film. It's not a blockbuster, it's not a tentpole franchise film. It is a film that's designed to make you think and then make you talk. And hopefully, you're right. Hopefully, Mark Wahlberg's name will get more people in than might otherwise have to do that. So
yeah.
That's where we both are. How about what is coming up in theaters? We have quite a bit coming up in theaters.
So much, actually.
So much, actually. We have M. Night Shyamalan's Old.
Yes.
Also this week, which we are seeing tomorrow. Next week.
Some of us have already seen it.
Well, some of us are seeing it tomorrow. Next week we have The Green Knight, which I know you and I have both been waiting for since last year.
Yeah, I am. That is the film that is my go-to of what's that film that you're looking forward to the most? Well, it's this.
So it'll be interesting. And also next week, Disney's Jungle Cruise, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Emily Blunt. So we will be seeing at least those three films. And there's more on the horizon. Yes. We're not far from the Suicide Squad.
No. We're, I think, 2 weeks? 2 weeks.
I believe it's August 6th.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all right. Sorry, I'm thinking about us.
Our screening is going to be slightly before that, but yes.
Anyway,
but that's coming. So yeah, there's quite a bit on the horizon.
It's really come at us quite quickly. I mean, Snake Eyes is this week as well.
That's right. Snake Eyes is this week. I'll be seeing that Friday.
Yeah, they for Friday. Whatever reason decided not to screen that for local critics.
Which I don't know if they screened it anywhere because I try not to look at reviews before we see things. Yeah. So I don't know what's out there. I don't know if they showed it in bigger markets, but not us. But it's got Henry Golding in it.
Yeah.
So there's got to be a level of quality to it. And of course, I expect the action to be good, but again, it's a G.I. Joe Origins film. I remember how the last Origins series started.
Well, let's not bring up X-Men.
So go there. So I don't know. So I am cautiously optimistic due to the involvement of certain people, but we will have to see how it comes. But like I said, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah,
about Snake Eyes. So that's 4 really big films in the next 2 weeks. That's pretty good.
It's going to get crazy from Ridley. The industry is kicking back up again.
Yes.
Now, hopefully, we all get vaccinated so we can continue to go see movies with the numbers spiking. I don't think they'll ever shut down movie theaters again, but we do need to be careful and safe as we go out and do these public things. And this is not a political statement. This is me wanting humanity to continue to go on. This is essentially, I just really would like to see movies.
And do things.
Go to
concerts. And
and be able to do them safely. And so, I mean, that's my primary concern here. I want to go out and live, and not at the expense of making it dangerous for anyone else. But I want to, life is only as good as the people you share it with sometimes. So.
Oh, you sound like a Disney movie.
I was raised on Disney movies.
Well, that explains a lot.
So anyway, let's be reasonable and smart. There are a lot of kids out there who aren't able to get vaccinated yet, and we need to think about them as well, because the future of cinema is children.
Yes.
And I don't want I don't want 15 years from now, 20 years from now, every film to be about the horrors of this,
2021,
just the darkness. Let's give those kids something happy to look, forward to.
Yeah, no, I already reviewed that movie. So open your eyes, check out my review of that. But yeah, that was the movie. So there you go. So we've got these movies on the horizon. They are in fact coming, and we are happy about it. And we will be talking about many, many films for you. So, but until we get to those, stay safe. Take it easy, everyone. I'm Mark. That's Ryan. Bye, Ryan.
See you guys.
And we'll see you at the theaters.